So, what is it that marks out an oligopoly from other market structures? I mean, some things it's got in common. The key one being compared, similarly to monopoly, it has barriers to entry, both structural and behavioural, and therefore you'd be expecting there to be abnormal profit in the long run. Because nobody, the market won't be, it may be partially contestable, but it's not going to be fully contestable because of these barriers to entry and exit. There'll be abnormal profit in the long run because it's not possible for firms easily to come and take those profits away. But what kind of really marks out oligopoly compared with any other market structure is the fact we can't completely predict what price and output are going to be, and the reason is because of what's called interdependence. So not independence, interdependence. Because there's only a small number of players, they respond to one another. So interdependence means that each firm considers the response of other firms when deciding its strategy. And its strategy might be pricing, it might be whether it's going to advertise, whether it's going to invest, and whether it's going to launch new products and so on. Yeah? So when deciding your products, your prices, your strategic decisions, you've got to think, how will the other firm respond? But they're also doing the same thing, which is where game theory comes from, which is what we'll be looking at in a subsequent video. But it's not just that we're interdependent, it's also we don't know how they're going to react. We don't know what they're going to do. They're human actors. So there is also a degree of uncertainty. We don't know for certain how firms will respond. Other firms will respond to our choice of prices, our choice of strategy. What if we research, will they, and so on. So interdependence and uncertainty. Those are the two key characteristics of oligopoly, and that then leads to a number of other kind of sub features. So one sub feature is that what we might get what's known as a competitive oligopoly. So they might choose to try and knock seven bells out of one another. And a lot of oligopolies are like that. Oligopoly is the study of the real world, and you look at a lot of the products that you buy. Take the market for coffee. Starbucks, Costa, they're clearly trying to compete with one another. So how do they compete? Well, sometimes they compete by price. So we'll get sometimes you'll see price wars. Sometimes you'll see periods of price stability. So sometimes they will decide that they want to compete on price with one another. Sometimes they'll realise that competing on price is kind of a zero-sum game. So if you look at if you look at the market for coffee strikes me as extraordinarily expensive for kind of boiled water and some ground up plants. And so how is it that, and it doesn't strike me therefore that Costa and Starbucks are really competing on the basis of price. How are they competing? So in the case of Costa, they're not competing. They're not competing on the basis of price. They're competing in other ways. So they're competing on non-price factors. So they're competing on kind of the quality of the kind of interior and the service that they're providing. They're competing on promotions and advertising and so on. So on the one hand, in some markets it'll be price competitive. On the other hand, in other markets prices will be stable and firms might compete on other basis. So then again, you're then just saying, well, okay, what sort of market is this? Is it one where price matters? Is it one where other factors matter? But of course, in some markets, they ain't going to compete at all. So there is also the possibility of collusion, which gives us a collusive oligopoly, where essentially the firms decide that what they're going to do, that the route to highest profit is basically to act collectively. So between them, what they're going to do is they're going to act as a monopoly. So they will again, we'll come to this in a subsequent video, but they'll coordinate their behaviour. So that might mean that they all agree on what price is going to be. It might be that they agree on who's going to win contracts and so on and so forth. They might coordinate, take OPEC, the oil cartel, they might coordinate output. And we'll look at some of that in a minute. So oligopoly, it's kind of varied market structure. It could be collusive. It might be they're going to compete on price. It might be that they're going to compete on other features, depending on the nature of it. What is true is that there are barriers to entry. So there should be abnormal profits in the long term. Interdependence. They have to respond to one another's decisions, and uncertainty. Those are your key characteristics.